Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. Make videos from BA. All these videos they get posted on the subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports with one S. I'll just have it linked down below. Where's my post? Here it is. From today, I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate, anything you need. I'll be in here up until lock, stuff like that. If you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. All right. I mean, today was just a wash. I mean, what is this Jokic game? And Spurs blowout, Boston blowout. Yeah, it was just a watch. Free square. Alec Burks just bust. Today was a wash. It was just a wash. Whole lineup and blowouts. And just my core today it was Jokic, Alec Burks, and Isaiah Jackson. Then I told everyone to get to at least one of Cole Anthony, Nikola Jovic, and just free square Jovic just bust. Foul trouble plus bust. And then blowouts, this Jokic game, I don't even know, man. Um, yeah, just a wash overall. Hope you guys had a great night tonight. Not going to talk too much. I already recorded this video, but I'm going to redo it. So that's why if you watched and I deleted it, I'm going to redo the video because was looking at some rotations after I made the other video, and there were a few things that I noticed that were wrong in the first video. So deleted it, redoing it. So apologies for that. But let's get in the slate. All right, really good spot here from Milwaukee. I think if you're spending up all the way, I think it's Giannis on this slate. Really good spot going up against Memphis. It's just like, can Memphis keep this game competitive? I really don't know, right? Milwaukee basically at full strength except Chris Middleton, right? They're gonna start Jay Crowder with Middleton out. Like him, Pat Connaughton will get the bumps. Jay Crowder probably your safest bet of the two, just because he's starting right now. They did go to more Pat Connaughton tonight, so like what you could do in tournaments if you wanted to is like say Jay Crowder's like really popular tomorrow. If you want to go to like Pat Connaughton at no ownership, I think that's something you could consider. But I do think Crowder, with him starting, is a decent value. But with the rotation tonight, they did kind of go to a bit more Pat Connaughton. Look, we can go over rotations as well since this is a smaller slate. So as you can see, it blew out obviously up against Miami the last game, and you can see they went to a bit more Pat Connaughton. We know Bobby Portis is going to get his mid 20s minutes. We know Beasley's going to get around 30 minutes, and we know Brook Lopez will play big minutes in competitive games. Same with Giannis, same with Dame, right? And then Pat Bev will play a little bit off of the bench. So yeah, with that being said, I think, Giannis, if you're spending all the way up, I think is your best option on this slate. My only concern here is, can Memphis keep this game competitive? I'm not entirely sure that they can, right? She can make the argument to fade Giannis if you want to. I have a feeling he'll probably be popular tomorrow since it's a 3 game slate. Raw points do matter. Don't have a ton of value here, but yeah, I think Giannis does look good. As far as Damian Lillard goes, still more of a contrarian play for me. I think there are guys at a similar price point where I'd rather play over Damian Lillard or go down that look better point per dollar. Like I'm really high on Gobert. I'm really high on Cat. I think I'd rather play Steph over Dame as well. So like not my favorite play, but he's still in play. It's a 3 game slate. You definitely have to have interest in anyone. I wouldn't be shocked if he absolutely smashes up against Memphis tomorrow. But the floor, a lot lower. I think personally for myself, I'd rather either spend up for Giannis or go down to those other options that I just mentioned, right? Bobby Portis at 6.2K, I think is priced right, maybe a little bit overpriced, but should play mid 20s minutes, good point per minute guy. I think he's in play as a large field tournament play for me, but I still think he's probably, priced right. Beasley, we know he has a ceiling. He's just fine. The floor is really low. I would say he's probably priced right. Like, if you fade Beasley, he's never really going to kill you. But if you play him and he has a really bad game like this game, he is going to kill you. So, like, he's up, he's down. He does have a ceiling. It's just fine. He'll probably be low owned. It's okay. And then a guy that I am pretty high on here is Brook Lopez at 5.7K. I think the price has come down because they've been involved in a ton of blowouts. He hasn't gotten his full complement of minutes here, but normally he's a guy that does play mid 30s minutes. He's about a fantasy point per minute guy as well. So like you give him his normal minutes at this price point, he could smash. So Brook Lopez is a guy that I do like tomorrow. Now center is definitely loaded for this small of a slate, so you're gonna have to make some tough calls here. But if he's low owned, sure, yeah, I do like some Brook Lopez at that price point. And then Jay Crowder, I think, is a solid value. Pat Connaughton would be your pivot in tournaments there. All right, moving on to Memphis. So we had Pippen inactive today. We'll see if he plays or not. But Grizzlies played like 150 guys tonight. Yeah, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. They play 10 guys tonight. Also, it's a back-to-back. So we'll see if Derrick Rose plays. Ankle injury there, and then we will see if Zaire plays. It's a back-to-back, but it's only a hand injury for him, so I'd probably expect him to play here. But with that being said, if we get a situation tonight where Pippen and Gilliard are out, so say both Pippen and Gilliard are out, so we get the exact same situation tonight, then I think there's some plays we can get to here. Then I would like Luke Kennard at 4.8K. He played over 30 minutes tonight. He'll do a bit of ball handling to the floor, plus ceiling is much higher with him. So I would like Luke Kennard quite a bit for value. I would prefer him to John Contra, and I think Jordan Goodwin would be very, very intriguing for tournaments. We know Goodwin's a good point per minute guy. Give him 24 minutes tonight with that big rotations. Like, I'm intrigued by Goodwin if those same guys rest and they do start Luke Kennard. Not going to play Rose. Now, if we get Rose, Pippen, and Gilliard all out, then I'm more high on Goodwin as well. And then I think Conchar would have to play a bit more. And Zaire. If Zaire plays, he's a playable dart at 3.7. They just ran so many bodies. As far as everyone else goes, Jaren and Vince are the two guys that I mainly trust here. If everyone's in, then say Gilliard's in, say Pippen's in, then we'll see what they do with the starting lineup. If they start like Pippen, I like Pippen. If Kennard comes off the bench, then not as much interest. Then everyone else is just much riskier. They're going to have a ton of bodies if those guys play. Main interest would be like Vince, Jaren Jackson Jr., and if they start Pippen. And then they're going to run such a big rotation, and you're literally taking darts on everyone else. But yeah, I think Vince at 6'5", I mean, he's just doing everything for this team. He's playing big minutes as well. So I think Vince is very, very safe. We know Jaren does have a ceiling. Now, the thing with Jaren is, if he's someone that's going to be popular tomorrow, I'll just fade. A ton of blowout risk here. Plus, you have a ton of foul trouble concerns going up against the Milwaukee Bucks as well. So, if Jaren is someone that's really, really popular tomorrow, I'm just not going to play him at $8,000. Now, if he's low owned, then we know he clearly has a ceiling. So that's going to depend on what I do with Jaren. And then with everyone else, like I said, if they have everyone in, I mean, good luck. If they start Pippen, I like Pippen. If Pippen's out and Gilliard are out and they start Kennard, I like Kennard. And then I'd be very intrigued by Goodwin. If Pippen's out but Gilliard's in, then we'll see what they do with the lineup. But then it would just make everything more muddier. And then keep an eye on Derrick Rose back to back. We'll see. Keep an eye on Zaire as well. But I would think Zaire does play. As far as the Warriors go, so I want to see what the first half minutes are for the Warriors right now. Oops. Come on. Alright, so Steph 21 first half minutes, Draymond 14, Jonathan Kuminga 9, Andrew Wiggins 8. What is going on here, Kerr? What? Is that right? Okay. I was about to say, what is going on? Okay, that definitely not right. Alright, so, okay. Steph 14 first half minutes, Wiggins 12, Kuminga 15, Draymond 12, Clay 14, Podzemski 15, Lester 8, GP2 we know he'll be in the rotation. Okay, I was like, what? Alright, so with that being said, it's a really, really good spot. I mean, Utah, they give up a ton of threes. Like, I like Steph quite a bit for tournaments at 9.6K. The ceiling is just absolutely massive in this spot going up against Utah. So I do like Steph. Kuminga, I'm pretty high on the main guys here as well. Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, I think are all decent plays. I think Draymond's probably your safest bet at 6.3K. His rates at the 5 are just way, way up compared to whatever else position he plays. Stuffing the stat sheet, we know he's going to facilitate as well. Good rebounder. So I think Draymond's very, very safe. Kuminga would be your ceiling play between these guys. Then we know Pod's going to play big minutes off the bench. He's fine. I think I prefer Draymond and Kuminga. And then Clay, really good spot for him. Like I said, Utah, they give up a ton of 3-point shooting, so I don't mind him at 5.5K. I think he's solid. And then Wiggins is playable at 5-1. And then if you need darts, I think GP2 is playable, and Quinones is playable as well. As far as the Utah Jazz go, so I want to see what they did tonight. I believe they were on a 9-man rotation tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9-man rotations. Like, they're running a regular rotation right now. So with that being said, I think Keontae George does stand out as one of the best value plays in the slate. So I'm really, really high on Keontae George. Jordan Clarkson, another guy that I'm really, really high on. 35 minutes tonight. His minutes have been ticking up of late. He is too cheap. I would expect similar minutes here. So another guy I'm high on is Jordan Clarkson. Sexton's fine, but I've heard Clarkson. And then we know Markkanen, he clearly has a ceiling. He is their go-to guy. He's going to play big minutes, so I don't mind him. Collins is fine. And then Walker Kessler, he finished with 30 minutes. Good shot blocker. Double-double upside. Has a ton of blocks upside as well. I think he's a solid option. So this Utah team does look pretty good to me. Very, very scary, but does look very, very solid. All right, moving on to Portland and Minnesota. These two teams just met up with each other the other day. So we'll just pull up the rotation. All right, as far as Anthony Edwards, he's been questionable every game, so I would expect him to play here, but we'll go over it both ways if he sits or not. So if Ant's in, I'm really, really high on the main three guys here. Just an absolute smash of a spot. It's just Portland, I don't know if they can keep it close. But with that being said, I think Ant, Cat, and Gobert look like three really, really good options in this matchup. Gobert should be able to feast. I mean, he had a really, really good game last game. Should have been a bit better. He had like 0 fantasy points in the first quarter. But I really like Gobert. Cat in the smash spot got into foul trouble last game. I think he's very solid. Anthony Edwards, I still think is too cheap at 8.7K. I like him quite a bit. Mike Conley, I think is very solid too at 5.2K. I like him. What else? Naz Reid is playable if anything happens like Gobert, Cat. He'll get extended, be a bit better. And then you're going to see NAW off the bench, probably play around 20 minutes. He's been getting extended because of the blowouts. Find Dart, and then Kyle Anderson probably sees around 20 minutes. Another Dart if you need the salary, and then McDaniels is playable as well. Now, if we get a situation where Anthony Edwards is out, NAW would move into the starting lineup. He would be up there with Keontae George as one of the best value plays in the slate. You're going to see a lot more Kyle Anderson off the bench. I'd really like Kyle Anderson for value. Naz Reid would be playable. I would love Mike Conley at 5.2K, and then I would absolutely love Karl Anthony Towns, and I would really like Rudy Gobert. And then McDaniels would be playable. So this Minnesota team definitely looks good regardless. All right, moving on to Portland here. So they started Kamara and Thibault last game. One thing to note here is Thibault got into a bit of, or Kamara got into a bit of foul trouble last game. So like you saw Bing get extended here. He also got extended because they didn't close the starters here, probably tanking. The game was close too, so I'm not sure what that was about. At least I think it was close, or maybe the Portland bench brought it back a bit. Maybe that's what happened. Not entirely sure there. But we'll keep an eye on Scoot. I would expect him to go here, but with Brogdon out, Simon's going to lead the way offensively for this team. He's going to play big minutes. I have no issue with him. I think he's a good tournament play. I feel like he'll be relatively low owned with those Minnesota options at similar price points. So I think Simons is solid. Grant's playable, but I prefer Simons. Ayton smashed in this matchup last time. He should play low to mid 30s minutes. He's fine. I think I prefer Gobert for a similar price point, and then Scoot will play about 30 minutes off the bench. Reasonable. Not going to play Walker, and then Kamara, Thibault both started. I do think Kamara is a decent value play. I don't think people are going to realize that he got in a massive foul trouble last game. He was actually on pace to play a bit more, probably like 25, 26 minutes. And Banton gained minutes because of that foul trouble. So, I'd be a little bit careful here. He gained some from foul trouble, gained some from the blowout. Just be a little bit careful there. But he is actually playable. And then I don't know if I have it in me to play Thibault. So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the slate. I hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.